And so you identified unforgiveness as something that could hold people back. What other types of things, Diane, do you think might be holding people back today?
When you were talking walls. We tend to, as we get hurt, we build up walls. And it keeps us trapped, but it also doesn't let others in who can help us. It'll certainly keep people out who could hurt us, for sure. That's why we build them. But it's not going to help let people in who are going to be of a benefit. And I think one of the coolest things, and it goes back to when I was teaching Heroes, which is an amazing program, we talk about walls, but somebody said, rather than walls, we need to think of a screen door. And I love that. Because a screen door will keep out the people we don't want in, but we can also see a little bit of what's happening.
Right.
And then we choose who we're going to let in,
right,
and who we're going to keep out.
Yeah.
And that was just such a great analogy.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Flourish podcast. I'm so grateful here today to have with me Diane Stevenson here in our Calgary, Alberta, Canada studio. Hi, Diane. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks, Abe. How are you?
Doing fantastic. I hear a little birdie told me that you have started a modified version in the last little while of 75 Hard.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. 25 days, 2 days in, I had to start again.
Okay. That happens, right?
It happens because we get out of our regular space. And then we have to adapt. My idea was for my exercise every day, I was going to go for a walk, and we had like monsoon rains and winds yesterday. So that didn't happen. And there's not a gym that I'm a member of. And it's like, didn't think I really wanted to pay extra since I'm already paying a gym membership. So I cleaned house.
You cleaned house. That's right. And that was a bit of a workout. That was a little bit of a workout, right? But yeah, that can happen sometimes. And so I guess I mentioned the 25 days that you're doing.
Yes.
Because I love the fact that, you're a woman on a journey, and your journey is about, health and wellness. And I know we had an episode with Diane. If you haven't check that out, please do. Just scroll back and you'll see Diane's lovely face on one of the covers, and she really shared her story. But right now, not to rehash that, I'd love to just hear a little bit about your commitment to wellness and what that looks like for you as a woman at this age and at this stage of life. Because sometimes people don't have a strong commitment to wellness when they get to certain ages and stages, right?
Some don't their entire life. And I think then as you get older, is when it really starts to show up. I look at my ex-husband who his job was very physical, but he didn't really do much other than that. And so now, it's been he's had stents put in. He doesn't eat well. He's one of those people who, when you see them walking down the street, they're gray. So that is not someone that I ever plan on being. I look at my parents who are, mom's in her late 80s, dad's in his early 90s. Okay. They're going strong. Obviously age is starting to catch up on them, but that's what I want to be like. And my heroes are the people, when you hear about me, someone who is in their early 90s doing not that I want to do an Ironman, but but that's what they're doing, and that's what I aspire to. Yeah. And to me, like, people always tell me I don't act my age, and I don't know how I'm supposed to act at my age, but I don't act my age. I don't look my age, and I intend to keep it that way.
Yeah, I love that. And we hear this today, but age really is a number. It's a mental construct. Yeah. Not because your body doesn't change. That's not what we're talking about. You're going to have to recognize that you can't do things at 40 that you maybe could do at 15. But hey, you can also do a whole bunch of things at 40 that you couldn't do at 15. Yeah. But it's about that commitment to, at every age and stage of life, I think, maintaining your well-being. And, again, it's going to look different. You're maybe not going to be able to recover as fast when you're your dad's age as he did when he was 20. Yeah. But he still has a sharp mind. He still is active. He has movement, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I think the other thing too is we still need to push ourselves. And because I have a 19-year-old grandson, and I said to him, like, when I did my 200-pound squat pre-COVID, I definitely couldn't do that now. I was in my early 60s. So why not? And it's not for everybody, but why don't we push ourselves? And maybe I may never do 200 pounds again. Maybe I don't want to, but it's happened. It's a possibility, and we just keep moving forward and keep growing, never stop growing.
Yeah. And so, I love this because, the idea, if you're listening, is not to start judging yourself and, having the imposter syndrome or feeling shame or something. Not at all. Depending on where you're at, maybe the message for you is just start where you can.
Yeah.
Because I love what you said. You started this 25-day thing a couple days in, you realized, oh, I missed this. And so what do? You just start again.
Yeah.
You don't beat yourself up for the next month and feel all kinds of shame and guilt.
You're going backwards.
And you're going backwards, right? So I know you've been launching your business and you've been reaching out and helping more people. So tell us, what's the latest and greatest for Diane? What are you up to? What's happening for you?
Anybody who hangs around with Abe for more than 15 minutes gets solid boots out of their comfort zone.
Sorry.
No, don't be. I appreciate it. So, I've had this massive fear of social media, and I'm starting to step out and do more stuff on social media. I am doing a course in June called Letting Go and Moving Forward, which has been actually so much of my journey, is letting go of all of the stuff that's been holding me back. And it's understanding, first of all, getting that recognition. What do I need to acknowledge in my life that's happened or is happening, and to take that and get rid of the ugly stuff and just start to move forward. And I know that forgiveness is part of it, and that's my thing. But every once in a while, something comes up. It's like, you need to forgive this person, or what's happened, and I'm finding more and more of that as I'm becoming more in tune with myself, which makes me a better coach for my clients.
Yeah. I love that. Well, I'd love to unpack a couple of those topics if you're okay. The first, I think you had mentioned you're afraid of social media, or, so tell us a little bit about that. What does that feel like for you? How's that manifested?
Yeah, it's funny. I'm old enough. There was no social media. We didn't even use computers when I was growing up. And so everything is all new to me, which is all part of the stretching and growing. And there's been a huge resistance to social media. And I think it's been a fear of judgment. People are going to judge me. And it doesn't matter what I do, people are going to judge me. It's just social media is a little more public. And so if I want to grow, I have to stretch. And that's part of the social media. I started as a business page. I have actually put a little bit on, I think I did Instagram.
Nice.
But I've just started doing, and I've set up a series. It's going to be every week and the same topic 3 times a week. Throw some extra stuff in there. And it's definitely more comfortable the more I do it.
Yeah.
And I've been fortunate enough. It's been positive feedback so far.
No, absolutely. You've done great. And what's your Facebook page? What's the name?
It's Your Life Coaching 2016.
It's Your Life Coaching 2016. All right. I think it's really important that we all acknowledge that when it comes to a topic like social media, and even just broadly speaking, marketing, that there are a lot of people who even just generationally may have fears and or hesitation. Like you referenced, you didn't even have computers growing up just because they weren't really publicly available. And so, of course, now somebody hands you a smartphone and they're like, well, hey, just get going on social media. And you're like, well, that's kind of weird, right? Like, and so I think, if that's you, out there listening and watching, well, reach out. Reach out to me. Not that I'll directly be able to help you, but I'll connect you with people who will, and they'll sit with you and they'll help you work those things through. I think what's motivated you, Diane, more than anything is knowing that you have a message, and a message that can help people, and that causes you to push through those barriers. So tell us a little bit about that.
I think that, obviously, as I get more and more feedback, and even the forgiveness message, when you talk to people, it's, we all need this. People need to hear more about forgiveness and understand the why, because there's so many reasons they think, why not? Right. If I forgive, they get away with it. If I forgive them, then I don't know what's going to happen. But it's all, forgiveness is about us as individuals. It's not about the person who hurt us. Yeah. It's the forgive and forget. You don't have to forget. Yeah. It's absolutely. And I was reading a website, and it was talking about why we don't need to forgive. Yeah. Because if you don't forgive, you're holding on to it. You're hurting yourself so much more. And that's so much a part of the message. Yeah. And that's the hard thing, right? Because, of course, if you, even just the fact that you need to forgive
shows that most likely you were wronged. And so then, wait a second, I'm the one who was wronged. Why should I then have to forgive? Because they're the one who did something to me. But the messaging, I think, is, hey, yeah, but you're going to hurt yourself more.
Exactly.
You're going to end up carrying a weight of resentment and anger. And yet letting go is hard too, right?
Absolutely,
like
it
forgiving
is.
is difficult.
And sometimes it becomes a part of our comfort zone.
Yeah.
And I've said it before, is sometimes there's comfort in the discomfort of the comfort zone.
Right.
Because it's known.
Right.
It's familiar.
Absolutely.
So when you step out into the unfamiliar, then it gets hard.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's interesting because, the first time you step into the unfamiliar, it's hard. But then what can happen is you can develop more confidence as you successfully navigate the unfamiliar. And then the next time you find yourself in that unfamiliar situation, rather than freaking out, stranger danger, right? You can be like, hey, I think I've got this. I can take a step. I can move. So you mentioned earlier you're doing a workshop. Is coming up. What's the date for that?
It's the evening of June 21st and all day on June 22nd.
Okay. So June 21st and 22nd in the year 2024.
We're not putting this off
just
until
checking.
next year.
You're like, I am planning way ahead, But tell us about the workshop. What's it called? What's happening?
It's called Letting Go and Moving Forward.
Okay.
It's just taking a look within and seeing things that may be holding us back from where we are and helping us to push forward through some of the barriers and into a much fuller life. And forgiveness is actually a part of that process. But it's where are we stuck? Where can we let go of stuff? Where do we have to let go of stuff so that we can become absolutely the best versions of ourselves?
I love that. And so what are some of the things that you've been learning as you've been preparing for this workshop on letting go?
I need to spend more time.
Letting go and moving forward. You've been learning you need to spend more time. That's fair. Fair enough.
Honestly, I go in and I read it and then I come back and then my mind right at this moment is, it's been an early morning. It's a little on the blank side.
Yeah.
But it's just, I got so much out of it the first time and I studying it and doing it with the amazing Jill Weatherhead. It's I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's interesting because I'm so grateful that you're doing this workshop and I wrote the material on letting go and moving forward and I've taught it many times. And I only say that to say that for me, the big thing that I understood in my own journey was this sense of calling. And it's hard to describe it any other way. And that sense of calling was to move forward. Like I knew that there was a calling on my life, that I had been put on this planet for a reason, to help people, to lead, to love, to laugh, to serve, to matter. But I wasn't actually able to achieve any of that until I let go, right? It's like a symbiotic relationship. It's almost what I discovered, at least in my own journey, was to the degree that I let go, to that same degree could I move forward. And if I wasn't moving forward, it wasn't just, Abe is lazy necessarily or unfocused, but maybe what I was carrying was holding me back. And so you identified unforgiveness as something that could hold people back. What other types of things, Diane, do you think might be holding people back today?
When you were talking walls. We tend to, as we get hurt, we build up walls. And it keeps us trapped, but it also doesn't let others in who can help us. It'll certainly keep people out who could hurt us, for sure. That's why we build them. But it's not going to help people, let people in who are going to be of a benefit. And I think one of the coolest things, and it goes back to when I was teaching Heroes, which is an amazing program, we talk about walls, but somebody said, rather than walls, we need to think of a screen door. And I love that. Because a screen door will keep out the people we don't want in, but we can also see a little bit of what's happening.
Right.
And then we choose who we're going to let in,
right,
and who we're going to keep out.
Yeah.
And that was just such a great analogy.
Yeah. A huge part of finding your power is that realization that, I do choose, right? I'm not just here aimlessly wandering through life. I can choose who has access to me, and I have to actually be the gatekeeper of my heart, of my mind, of my relationships. Very, very important. And so how could somebody who might be interested in this workshop and spending, some time with you And Jill, how could they find out more info?
Currently, they can go to the Certified Coach website.
Okay.
CertifiedCoaching.com.
Yep. Certified Flourishingcoach.com. Yep. And
Certified Flourishing Coaches. I have it on my computer.
That's all right.
And then it just go to courses,
Yep.
personal development, and then it will come up with a date.
Okay. So, folks, I just encourage you to check that out. I mean, CertifiedFlourishingCoach.com. And like she's saying, you can go to courses and you'll see personal development, professional development, and right there it will be listed. And hey, even if you just want to reach out to Diane and ask her for more information, you can do that through the website, and we'll make sure that you get in touch directly with Diane. What would be the kind of person who would most benefit from this workshop, do you think?
Someone who has reached a point where they know they want to make some changes or they have to make some changes, and they're open. The key is being open and saying, okay, some of this might hurt a little bit as we, break the walls of the comfort zone. But I'm going to come out of it ahead, and I'm going to come out of it a better person. Mm-hmm. And it'll be so much more beneficial to the people who are around me. Because when we help ourselves and we make ourselves better, those that we love and are close to will benefit from that as well, even now and in the future, because they're going to see the changes. Yep. And then they can adapt them as well, because that's been a shift because when we see positive things in people, we want to do that too.
We sure do, right? It's inspiring, right? Well, Diane, I'm so grateful for your journey and for your growth. I just want to strongly encourage you all who might be listening and watching to check it out. Letting Go and Moving Forward is the name of the workshop, and it's going to be happening June 21st and 22nd, in person and online. And if nothing else, getting into a room with a group of healthy people, safe people who have got your back, that alone is transformational. So, any final thoughts here today, Diane, for our viewers and friends who are watching or listening?
I think that, and we've talked about a few things, but I think that anything that we can do to make ourselves a better person, mm-hmm. to make the world around us better through positive change in us, will grow, the people around us will grow. And, this sounds really, some would say it's a little woo-woo, but it's going to make the world a better place. And it can be a pretty ugly world right now. So let's do our part to make it better.
Yeah, I actually think that the fact that the world is so huge with 8 billion people and this big planet, it's like we think, can I make a difference? And yet maybe your calling today isn't necessarily to change the whole world. But what if it was just to change somebody's trajectory today? What if it was just to reach out? Yeah. And I think that is a little woo-woo. Sure, I'll take it, because the alternative is we're all just sinking here like a bunch of zombies, and that's not cool either. So
change our corner.
Absolutely. So hey guys, reach out. You can always reach out, please, to Diane. And of course, you can also reach out through our website, CertifiedFlourishingCoach.com, and we'll make sure that you connect. So hey, thanks everybody for tuning in to the Flourish podcast. We're so grateful to you, our subscribers, our viewers. Please do like this, share it, give us some positive comments. Make sure you subscribe and tell other people about this great podcast episode, especially with Diane, because she's a real treat and she will really, really make an impact on anybody who might be privileged and joyful enough to hear this. And so thanks so much, Diane. And we'll see you all in our next episode. Thanks, everyone.